Right now, at this exact moment, there are two prices for silver, not two opinions, not two estimates, two actual, real trading prices. Open your phone. Search COMEX silver, you will see $72. Now search Shanghai silver spot, you will see $100. Same metal, same day, same planet. $28 difference. I need you to stop and process what I just said. The same silver, the same element, atomic number 47, is trading at two completely different prices at the same time. One price in New York, another price in Shanghai. And nobody in mainstream financial media is talking about it. Nobody. $72 versus $100. That is not a small discrepancy. That is not a rounding error. That is not currency fluctuation. That is a 39% gap. A gap so massive it should be screaming from every financial headline on the planet. It is not. And that silence tells you everything. Welcome to Finance Currency. I am going to show you what this gap really means, who created it, and what happens when it finally closes. This is the kind of analysis you will not find on CNBC. You will not find it on Bloomberg. You will not find it anywhere except right here. If you are new, subscribe right now. Hit that notification bell, because what I am about to show you changes everything you think you know about precious metals. Let us start with the basics. COMEX is in New York. It is the largest futures exchange for metals in the world. When CNBC shows you the silver price, that is COMEX. When your app displays silver spot, that is COMEX. When any financial website quotes silver, that is COMEX. $72, but COMEX is paper. It is contracts. It is promises. Very few people who trade on COMEX ever touch actual silver. They buy paper, they sell paper, they settle in cash. The metal never moves. The metal is almost imaginary. Now Shanghai. Shanghai Gold Exchange is where physical metal trades. Real silver, real delivery, real trucks loading real bars and driving them to real warehouses. When you buy silver in Shanghai, you get silver. Not a contract, not a promise. Metal, $100. The paper price is $72. The physical price is $100. This is not supposed to happen. In an efficient market, these prices should be nearly identical. Maybe $1 or $2 difference for shipping costs, maybe some small variance for currency exchange. But 39%, that is not a market. That is two different realities. And here is what should terrify you. The gap is not closing, it is widening. 1 month ago, the gap was 15s. 2 weeks ago, 22s. Last week, 25s. Today, 28s. Every day, the paper price and the physical price move further apart. Every day the lie gets bigger, every day the tension builds. Something is going to break. Let me explain what this gap actually means. If physical silver in Shanghai costs $100, that means real buyers, manufacturers, refiners, people who actually need silver for production are willing to pay $100 per ounce. They are not stupid. These are sophisticated industrial buyers. They have entire teams analyzing prices. They have decades of experience. They are paying $100. Now ask yourself a simple question. If silver is really worth $72, why would anyone pay $100? Why would Chinese manufacturers, some of the smartest industrial buyers in the world, pay 39% more than they need to? They would not, unless they know something. They know the paper price is fake. They know $72 is a manipulated number pushed down by forces that have nothing to do with supply and demand. They know the real value of silver is closer to $100, maybe higher, and they are buying accordingly. Meanwhile, in New York, retail traders are watching their screens, seeing $72 and thinking silver is crashing. They are panicking. They are selling. They are taking losses based on a number that does not reflect reality. They are being lied to. Two prices, two realities, one lie. The paper price is what they show you. The physical price is what smart money actually pays. $72 is the illusion. $100 is the truth. And right now, the gap between illusion and truth is $28 and growing. Something is about to break. The question is when and who profits when it does. Now that you understand the gap exists, let me show you how they created it. This was not an accident. This was not market forces. This was engineering. Precision engineering. The weapon is called a margin hike. Let me explain how this works. When you trade silver futures, you do not pay the full price. You put down a deposit called margin, usually around 10%. So if you want to control $100,000 worth of silver, you only need $10,000. That is your skin in the game. The exchange sets the margin requirement. They decide how much cash you need. And here's where it gets interesting. If the exchange raises margin requirements overnight, you suddenly need more cash, not next week. Not when you get paid, immediately. If you do not have the cash sitting in your account ready to go, your position gets liquidated. The exchange sells you out automatically at whatever price exists at that moment. And when everyone is getting liquidated at the same moment, the price at that moment is terrible. Absolute bottom. The worst possible exit. Now, one margin hike is survivable. Most traders keep some buffer. But what if there are 2 margin hikes? 3? 4? What if there are 8 margin hikes in 8 weeks? That is not survivable. That is extermination. That is exactly what CME did. 8 margin hikes, 8 weeks, each one designed to drain more cash from long positions, each one tightening the noose. December hike, January hike, Christmas Day hike, New Year's weekend hike. Every time traders caught their breath, another hike. For comparison, 2024 had 2 margin hikes. The entire year, 2023 had 3. 2022 had 2. 7 hikes in 3 years was normal. 8 hikes in 8 weeks is unprecedented. I went through 20 years of CME data. This has never happened before. Not once. Not even close. Each hike triggers forced selling. Forced selling pushes prices down. Lower prices trigger margin calls on other traders who were not even affected by the original hike. More forced selling, more price drops, more margin calls. A death spiral. By design. But here is the part that made me stop breathing. The same morning, CME announced another margin hike. Shanghai Gold Exchange also raised margins. Same day, same direction, same action. CME in Chicago, Shanghai in China. 14 time zones apart, coordinated. Now think about this. America and China agree on nothing. Trade wars, tariffs, sanctions. They argue at every international meeting. They are strategic rivals in every possible way. But on silver margins, suddenly they are moving in perfect lockstep. That is not supposed to happen, unless they are both scared of the same thing. Let me tell you what they are scared of. 356 to 1. That is the paper to physical ratio on COMEX. For every 1 ounce of real silver in the vault, 356 ounces exist on paper. 1 real ounce, 356 paper claims. This works when everyone settles in cash. Nobody asks for actual metal. Everybody just trades paper back and forth. But what happens when people start demanding physical delivery? The math explodes. And people are demanding physical delivery. In the 3rd week of January alone, 33 million ounces of silver walked out of COMEX vaults. Not traded, physically removed, loaded on trucks, gone. 26% of everything they had in 1 week. 4 years ago, COMEX held 430 million ounces. Today, 113 million, 74% has vanished, and it is accelerating. 1st week of January, 7 million ounces left. 3rd week, 33 million. The exit is a stampede. Who is taking this silver? Not retail investors. Moving 33 million ounces requires trucks, armed security, industrial warehouses. This is institutional money, manufacturers, sovereign wealth funds, smart money. They are draining the vault, and here is why they are doing it now. March futures represent 528 million ounces of promised delivery. That is how much silver has been promised to traders holding March contracts. The vault has 113 million ounces, 528 million promised, 113 million available. They have promised almost 5 times more silver than physically exists in the entire COMEX warehouse system. If just 22% of contract holders demand delivery, the vault is completely empty. Not tight, not stressed, empty. What happens when the 23rd% shows up asking for their silver? This is the nightmare scenario. This is why margin hikes. This is why coordination. This is why the paper price is being pushed down, while physical holds at $100. They need to shake out longs before March delivery demands expose the whole system. The gap between $72 and $100 is not a market anomaly. It is evidence of the greatest manipulation in precious metals history, and it is happening right now. Now let me show you who profits from this $28 gap. Follow the money. Always follow the money. JP Morgan holds the largest silver short position of any bank in history. They have been short silver for over a decade. Every dollar silver drops, they make hundreds of millions. Bank of America, massive shorts. HSBC, massive shorts. These are not random market participants. These are the most powerful financial institutions on earth. And here's what makes it interesting. These banks sit on CME committees. They have visibility into positioning data that retail traders never see. They know where the pressure points are. They know where the stop losses cluster. They know exactly how much pain it takes to trigger a cascade. Friday, when silver crashed 38%, regular traders lost everything. These banks made billions. When gold crashed through $4,500 and silver through $72, these banks made billions more. I am not alleging crimes. Short selling is legal. Exchange committees are legal. Margin hikes are legal. I am pointing out that the entities who profit most from this crash are the same entities with the most influence over exchange policy. Draw your own conclusions. But let me add some more pieces to this puzzle. Thursday evening, before the Friday crash, Reuters published a story claiming U.S. government was ending support for strategic metals. Anonymous sources, zero verification, algorithms triggered, selling cascaded. 3 hours later, the Energy Department issued a statement. Quote, "The article is false and relies on sources that are misinformed or deliberately misleading." End quote. False, completely made up. But markets had already crashed. Algorithms do not reverse for corrections. Also, Thursday night, the Kevin Warsh Fed chair nomination leaked. Hawkish. Bad for metals. Official announcement came Friday morning. Insiders knew Thursday night. Fake news. Leaked nominations. 8 margin hikes. All in the same window. Coincidence? And here's something I found that nobody's reporting. The day before the crash, Thursday, there was unusual options activity on silver ETFs. Massive put buying. Someone made huge bets that silver would collapse. The day before it happened, either someone got very lucky or someone knew what was coming. Now let me show you what happened to traders who tried to escape. They could not. In China, the UBS SDIC Silver Fund was completely halted. Not slowed down, not restricted, completely halted. Entire session. 0 trades executed. Imagine watching silver crash 30% and not being able to sell. Clicking the sell button and nothing happens. Refreshing the page. Nothing. Calling customer service, hold music, watching your money evaporate minute by minute while the exit door is locked shut. That happened to thousands of investors. In the US, ProShares Ultra Silver dropped 62% in a single session. If you had a $100,000 Thursday night, you had $38,000 Friday evening. Traders tried to sell, orders rejected, platforms showing error messages, systems overloaded, customer service wait times over 2 hours. One trader messaged me saying he tried to close his futures position for 18 hours straight, every single order rejected, watching his account drain dollar by dollar with absolutely no ability to stop it. They crashed the price, then they blocked the exits, then they raised margins again, crash, lock, raise. If you were designing a system to destroy retail positions and transfer wealth to institutional shorts, this is exactly how you would build it. And through all of this, what is Shanghai doing? Holding at $100, paper is crashing, physical is holding. The $28 gap is not an accident, it is evidence. Evidence that paper is being manipulated down, evidence that physical reflects reality, evidence that one price is a lie and one price is the truth. $72 is what they want you to believe. $100 is what silver is actually worth. The gap is screaming. Can you hear it? The question is not whether manipulation is happening. The evidence is overwhelming. The question is, how long can they keep it going? And what happens when they cannot? Now, let me tell you what happens when this gap closes. Because it will close. It always does. Throughout history, every time paper prices have diverged from physical reality, eventually reality wins. It happened in 1980. It happened in 2011. It will happen again. The only question is how. There are 2 ways this gap can close. Option 1. Physical crashes to meet paper. Shanghai drops from $100 to $70. This would require actual oversupply of physical silver. It would require manufacturers to stop needing silver. It would require solar panels to stop being built. It would require EVs to stop production. It would require AI chips to be made without silver. That is not happening. Silver has been in supply deficit for 5 consecutive years. Demand is exploding. Solar needs it. EVs need it. AI needs it. Every iPhone needs it. Every medical device needs it. The cumulative shortfall since 2019 is 1.3 billion ounces. 18 months of global production, gone, consumed, and China just made it worse. January 1st, 2026, silver was added to China's strategic materials list. Export licenses now required. Volumes down 40%. China refines 65% of the world's silver. They just told the West to find another supplier. There is no other supplier. Physical is not crashing to 72s. The fundamentals make that impossible. Option 2. Paper rises to meet physical. COMEX climbs from $72 to $100. This is what happens when the manipulation breaks, when March delivery comes and traders demand physical, when the vaults cannot deliver what they promised, when the 356-1 ratio is exposed, when the paper game ends, $72 rises to $100, then higher. Because $100 is just today's physical price. When paper catches up, the true supply-demand fundamentals take over, and those fundamentals say silver should be much higher. The question is not if, the question is when, and who is positioned when it happens. Here is what I am watching. These numbers tell you what happens next. First, the Shanghai Premium, currently 28. This is the truth indicator. If this gap widens to $40, paper is losing all credibility. If it narrows because physical drops, maybe the manipulation thesis is wrong. But if it narrows because paper rises to meet physical, that is when you know the game is ending. Second, COMEX vault levels. Every Friday they release data. Last week, 33 million ounces left. If another 20-30 million leaves this week, the vault will be nearly empty before March. Watch this number. Third, lease rates, currently 8-10%. Normal is 0.5%. This is what institutions pay to borrow physical silver. When lease rates spike like this, physical metal is impossible to find. The last times lease rates hit these levels were 1980 and 2011. Both times, something big happened shortly after. Fourth, March open interest. How many contracts are still open for March delivery? High open interest means delivery pressure. That is what exchanges are trying to avoid. Fifth, trading halts and platform freezes. If more funds get halted, if more platforms freeze, the system is under stress. Functioning markets do not freeze. Stressed markets do. Track these 5 indicators. They tell you what is coming before anyone else figures it out. Now here is what I want you to understand. This crash is not random. It is not normal market behavior. 8 margin hikes in 8 weeks. Unprecedented. CME and Shanghai coordinating, enemies moving together. Unusual options activity day before the crash. Someone new. A $28 gap between paper and physical. Should not exist. Vaults draining at 26% per week, smart money running, traders locked out of accounts, unable to exit. This is not a correction. This is a coordinated attack on long positions designed to shake them out before March delivery exposes the fractional reserve nature of the entire system. It is working. Longs are being destroyed. But the fundamentals have not changed. The shortage is real. The deficit is real. Physical is $100 while paper is $70. Paper reconciles with physical. It always does. That truth has held for 5,000 years. The question is whether you survive until that moment. Here is what separates winners from losers in moments like this. Crashes do not destroy wealth. They transfer it. Friday, wealth moved from retail to banks. When this reverses, it moves back. The winners are not the ones who predict perfectly. They are the ones who survive, who manage risk, who stay calm while others panic. $72 versus $100. That gap closes eventually. Someone profits when it does. Will it be the banks who manipulated the price down? Or will it be the investors who understood what was really happening, who positioned themselves correctly, who held through the pain? The choice is yours, your money, your decision, your future. But now you know the truth. 2 prices, 1 lie, and a gap that cannot last forever. This is finance currency. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this with someone who needs to understand what is really happening. Subscribe and hit the bell because I am covering this daily until the gap closes. The $28 gap is screaming. Can you hear it? See you tomorrow.